Welcome to Save As Ability, a podcast to educate and inform you about disability employment issues. My name is David D'Arcangelo, and I'm your disability policy expert.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back for another episode of Save As Ability. It's David D'Arcangelo, and we're back for another episode here. We've got a great guest today, but before we get to our great guest, I want to ask and remind you if you could help us out by liking, subscribing, sharing. All of that really does help us keep great content flowing for you to build our audience here and to bring in great guests like we have today. Aarti Sahgal, welcome, Aarti.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to be here, David.
Well, it's great to have you. And we got connected in actually by a guest that we just had, I think last week, by the time people are seeing this episode. Chris Marr was one of our guests. He had connected us in. We hit it off. We have some similarities in our personal life. So we'll get right to it, Aarti. Why don't you tell our audience a little bit about yourself? And then I definitely want to talk about Synergies at work and the great work and really the novel approach you're bringing to capital markets and people with disabilities.
Hey, thanks so much, David. Yes, we got connected through Chris, a great friend. There is commonality between all three of us. We are parents who have a child with a disability. I have two sons, and my younger son has Down syndrome, and that's what pivoted me to the disability world. Before doing this, I was in marketing and advertising. I was heading an advertising agency. But when my younger son was born, I kind of realized that there are two worlds that in right now, the one for people with disabilities and one for people without disabilities. And I wanted to couldn't wrap my head around why these differences exist, even though we have so much of work done in the disability world, but yet there is a difference. And therefore, I kind of changed my paths and started in the disability world to understand this gap and launched Synergies work 6 years back as the startup, a business accelerator to support entrepreneurs with disabilities. And then last year, we launched Synergies Seed Fund, which is the first rising CDFI in the country, Community Development Financial Institution, to provide small business loans to founders with disabilities.
Yeah, that's very interesting, Aarti, and I definitely want to talk more about that. But first, I want to thank you because you had a successful career in advertising, and yeah, you had the personal connections, but you could have stayed there. You could have stayed there making a ton of dough. So thank you for coming in to try to solve these really challenging issues. And you're right, there are two different markets, two different sets of rules, it seems like, right? Not actually, but like kind of in practice, that's how it works out, unfortunately. So yeah, let's first talk a little bit about Synergies at work and but then the uniqueness of the Community Development Fund that you just mentioned as well.
Yeah, so Synergies work is a nonprofit, and it was started because we were seeing, I firmly believe that there's talent that all of us have, but it is so easy to overlook talent among people who are labeled, and especially labeled as
Yes, the stigma is real.
The stigma is real. So our ethos of Synergies work is that everybody has a talent. It can be a talent of hand, heart, or head. And what we provide is a platform to allow people to dive into their talent, the supports, the networks, and the resources so that they can grow their small businesses. We are not, at this time, very intentionally since last year, focusing on small businesses because those are the ones, what I call the non-sexy businesses, that are easy to fall through the cracks and nobody wants to work with it. That's where the numbers lie. That's where the real numbers are. And if we want to see the unemployment gap closing in the disability world, then that's what the focus should be for everybody.
So encouraged to hear you say that, bringing your intellect here, because we've talked about this and we've had researchers and the data is very real there that 99% of all businesses are small businesses. And
Exactly.
so most of the laws, the regulations, and the policies and the procedures are focused on large businesses that
Yeah.
are, publicly traded corporations and big public agencies and things like
Yeah.
that. And that's good. And those are good. But what about small business? That's
Yeah.
that's 50% of the workforce in America, by the way.
Oh, no, I think it's much more than that, David, if my numbers are not correct. It's actually the micro businesses, which are the backbone of the US economy.
Yes.
They are the ones who are hiring a lot more people. They are the ones which we dismiss so easily. People who have less than, I think, 5, including the owner, as employees.
Yes.
This is where the real growth happens. They're the
Yeah.
ones that we need to focus on.
Yeah, the definition I was using, the SBA definition,
Okay.
is 500 or less. But yeah, you're right. I mean, we're on the same page here. There's a bunch of different ways
Yeah.
to do it. So now let's talk then about this novel CFDI fund, this accelerator that you're talking about that is really very promising, I think, for people with disabilities.
Thank you. I firmly believe that, there are 3 things that, very simply put, there are only 3 things, but there are much more than that. That most important pillars that we focus on is, yes, the knowledge, the actual knowledge that you need to grow your business, which is the business accelerator. Then it is the networks. Who knows who? That's how our life works, whether it's your job, but especially so if you're running a business. How many connections do I have? So how many doors somebody can open for me? That's critical. And the third and the most important thing is money. Without money, there is no business. But in the disability world, we do not talk about money and disability in the same breath, because there is such deep-rooted systemic fear of the money, and that impacts all our lives, our daily, the way we handle money, the way we save money, the way we invest money. And when we look at outside, a person with a disability going to a bank, that's why the numbers of banking and the unbanked numbers are so significant. 40% still in 2026 that people are unbanked, people with disabilities are unbanked.
Yes.
And imagine a person with a disability, a business owner with a disability going into a bank. What does a banker see generally? They don't see the business potential. What they are seeing is a risk. And that's one part of it. The second part is that large majority of people with disabilities are credit invisible or have low credit scores. So when they are going to the financial institutions, if at all they're asking for a loan, they get extremely high rates of interest.
Yes.
It's prime plus what? 8?
I've experienced
10?
it myself. Access to capital is very challenging to get a reasonable deal that other businesses would be extended.
Right. And when we are in the financial market, we are talking about innovation, or we are talking about serving the underserved. I think for the first time, there is a intentionality behind acknowledging that people with disabilities are a huge market segment.
Absolutely.
And so it's not out of charity. It is a market potential for financial institutions to look at this market segment that they have ignored, and they need to bring these people, us, onto that table when they're talking about financial innovation.
We've gone over it on this program, the Accenture report, the AAPD report, Disability In report. They all indicate that people with disabilities can be some of your best innovators, some of your best workers, and human capital potential is there. We're all in various states of ability, Aarti.
Yeah, and you know what? The other thing I must say is that when anybody is designing for the margins, everybody benefits from
That's
it.
right.
And we've seen it in our own work. Though we work in this field and this sphere, I can tell you that we have launched a new, one of its kind, I'm so proud of this, a financial fundamentals program for small business owners. Now, it was created by and for entrepreneurs with disabilities. And I realized that as we were working on it and, going back to the drawing board and changing and things like that, at the end of it, now that we are ready to launch after a year of working on it, it's the best tool that anybody can use, because when we are designing for somebody who has a different kind of a learning style, well, today everybody has a small attention span. They're only looking
That's
at
right.
Twitter and X and Instagram. Who has the time to look through 5 minutes of anything? So what we have worked out is those small modular kind of a programming works for the whole world.
Yes, that universal design really does matter.
Exactly. It
Well,
really,
if it's a free tool, please send us the link. We'll put it in the description here so everybody can check it out.
I will definitely do that just now.
Yeah, thanks. So, all right, Aarti, as we begin to conclude, how can people get involved with your organization if there's viewers or listeners out there that want to open their own business, or they want to, how can they get involved with you and what you're doing?
So if you want to open your own business, you can just go onto our website, put in your emails, even if currently the Business Accelerator program is not looking or is in the process. We do keep the applicants' emails, and they are the people who have signed up are the first to get a notice that the accelerator is looking. So the process is simple. You apply, it's a simple process. There is a interview with the coach, the head of accelerator program. And we're not testing on the strength of your business or how long your business is, but what we are testing is, are you really serious about doing the business? Because having that in a seriousness is very critical. So please, the website is the best thing. There are free business hours. You can even log in and book anybody on my team or me for 15 minutes of our time, and we'll be happy to walk you through your business ideas or any questions you have. We have a community hub, David, which is a virtual meeting place for business owners, which is also free. So you can ask any number of questions, and that peer-to-peer networking and community is important. So that's there. And if you want to apply for a loan, that again is on the website. And of course, if you want to be part of this movement, please reach out to me. We would love to welcome you, your time, your money, and your resource, any way else you think you can support the work we are doing.
Excellent. Well, it is all about networking and sticking together, and where the mission meets the private capital markets. That's new to disability, and I think as Chris is working on it, and the Disability Opportunity Fund. We've talked to Charlie. We're talking to you. Like the trend is moving this way to say, all right, enough is enough. We've got so many people with disabilities here. We can't just rely on public benefits. This is not, they've got real talent. So this is a winner, Aarti, and you're a pioneer here. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much, David. I appreciate this conversation with you, and thank you for inviting me.
Well, it's great to have you. Aarti Sahgal, Synergies at Work. Check it out. We'll put all the links in the description here. And it's been great having you on, Aarti. So thank you for coming.
Thank you. Take care.
All right. And for everybody else out there, it's David Darkangelo, another episode of Save Visibility. We appreciate you, and I hope you have a great day.
For more information about disability employment issues, please visit our website, disabilityemploymentsolutions.com. The Save As Ability podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, our YouTube channel at Disability Policy Expert, or wherever you stream your podcasts. Subscribe, stream, rate, and review our shows. Your ratings and reviews help our show reach new audiences. Produced by Pod Pro Entertainment. Save As Ability lives within a network of podcasts located at podproentertainment.com. #The New Radio. Again, my name is David Darkangelo, and I'm your disability policy expert. Until next time, thank you. I hope you have a great day.